But at the moment, it's looking good. And I'll tell you a little secret about why that might be. Hi everyone, George here, and this is my Oase Highline 400. I've not done an update on it for a little while, so here we are. Really happy with it. It's been running almost trouble-free now for a couple of weeks, and I know that because I've been away for a few weeks and I came back and it looks great. Really happy. Thanks so much to my beautiful wife Emma for feeding the liquid fertilizer and feeding the fish. That was all that was happening whilst I was away. That's a great thing about having a lid. I'm just going to put the lights on. So one of the main advantages in my mind for having a lid is to prevent evaporation, which is always an issue when you're away from home for any length of time. I do miss having rimless tanks, to be fair. I lent my Scaper Line 60 to Ty Streetman. I'm actually seeing him tomorrow, so I wonder if we'll see anything that he's created in there. That'd be exciting. I guess I should talk about the system and the inhabitants and the plants and the experiences I've had so far. I'll talk about all the equipment at the end. I think the plants and the fish are the most interesting in the scape itself. The composition of the scape, which is this main piece of wood, well, there's 3 pieces of wood altogether. The original concept was created for the discus aquascape that was set up a couple of years now, I think. Mixed kind of reactions to the discus tank, mixed experiences, mixed levels of success. Long story short, I don't think discus are suitable for my lifestyle. So I decided to rescape all the plants, almost, kept some of the Anubias, as you can see, and added a load of new different fish. All tetras, except for the new hatchet fish. In fact, these were featured in the last vlog, I think, featuring the scape. There we go, they look great, don't they? Beautiful, just hanging around at the surface. And speaking of the surface, and look how clear that surface is. Absolutely immaculate. And those fish just shoal up and down so beautifully. So the fish are a mixture of blueberry tetras, which are the biggest tetras. Let's see if I can get some. I do have my 4K fancy camera now repaired, so I'm really excited about creating some beautiful cinematic footage of this scape once it's fully matured. So these are the blueberry tetras, the kind of magenta, purpley, pinky colours. Then we have the lemon tetras, but these are in fact an orange kind of form. And then there's the original kind of yellow form, which is here. And Ty Streetman did tell me an interesting story about the difference, but I can't remember right now. We have the bent Oase tetras is here, which are the taller bodied ones with a really interesting dorsal fin. And plant-wise, let's talk about the plants, the obvious. So this is the beautiful Echinodorus ocelot, and it's getting near the surface now. I think it's a 50 or 60 centimetre high tank, 55 maybe. And then these other 2 species, and I don't actually know how to identify them. This is a bit embarrassing. Definitely one's red flame, and I'm pretty sure one's red diamond. Let's go to the Anubias. Mostly the petite, Anubias petite, which is obviously growing on the rocks and the wood as an epiphyte plant. That's how it prefers to grow. It is also a shade-loving plant, so ideally you don't want to have too much light, otherwise it will trigger algae. And I have experienced several bouts of BBA, but at the moment it's looking good. And I'll tell you a little secret about why that might be. I'll put this light on again. Okay, so this is a bit naughty, and I've been told off, kind of thing, by Twin Star, because I've got 2 Twin Star lights in here. One's a 1200, one's a 900, sorry for the flickering. 900's right at the back, and the 1200's towards the back as well, and that's to avoid too much light hitting the front. Now when I go away, when I'm travelling, and I'm not observing the tank day to day, I actually turn, sorry about the flickering, try this angle here. This is dirty, isn't it? That's a bit embarrassing. I actually turn this one off, take it out, in fact, of the whole aquarium, and I just run this one right at the back, because all of the plants at the front are relatively easy. And since I've been doing that regularly, the algae has really disappeared from the front. So I think it's more about lighting control than anything else regarding the algae in this tank. Anubias petites mostly. There is some Anubias mini coin kind of intermittently spread around just to give an enhanced texture. There's some definitely down there. How tiny that is. Barely bigger than the grains of soil. And that's interesting, isn't it? We're growing the Anubias there, actually in the substrate, which we wouldn't normally do. Interesting. Loads of different crypts. I can't remember all the species names. There's at least 5 different species. And we do have this relatively new plant here, Schismatoglottis paratoi. Now, it is my understanding that Denelay produce this at the moment, but I have heard rumours that Tropica might be producing it as well. Please don't quote me on that. I'll find out and let you know in a future video. More crypts on the other side. It's quite a symmetrical layout, as you can see. I like symmetry though. I do like a bit of symmetry in my aquascaping, if I'm honest with myself. We always talk about the rule of thirds and golden ratio, but when you think about it, actually humans are attracted to other humans through a symmetrical face, so that's interesting, isn't it? Let's have a little look through the right hand side. Looking good. I've actually turned the CO2 off so the microbubbles aren't distracting us too much. Let's come around this side. Looking good. Oase surface skimmer here. This is their bigger model, the 600. And then we've got the dry weir. This is really interesting for those that aren't aware. Oase actually drill the inlet of their filter, I'll show you in a minute, and all of the electrical cables, all of the filter hoses come through here instead of round the back and through cutouts in the back. So it means it's just a really neat system. We can actually have the aquarium right up to the back wall. Glass here is black glass. It isn't painted. It doesn't have a background, acrylic background or anything like that. So it's just a really high quality product, the Oase Highline system. Really, really big fan. And I've had this aquarium now at home for, I'm gonna say at least 2 years, maybe 3 years. This is cool, isn't it? A little feeding hole. We'll feed the fish before I go, I think. Okay, let's talk about the engine room, what's going on down here. It might look a bit messy and complex, but it is actually quite straightforward. I'll divide it up into simple sections. Filtration and liquid fertilizers and root tubs on the left. CO2 and maintenance kit on the right. Let's take a closer look. These are the Oase Biomaster 6. No, they're not. These are the Oase Biomaster 850s. At the moment, the biggest filter in the range. Complete with inline CO2 here. Supplied by my good friends Greenleaf Aquarium, of course. And then standard media in here. No chemical media at all, although I have heard of great reports about people upgrading their media. It's something that I've not done and I haven't seen the need to do yet, but understand everyone's got their own tastes, choices, etc. Liquid fertilizers, just trialing out the APT 3, is it? Yeah, getting good results, as you can see, healthy plants. And then the Tropica nutrition capsules here. Dechlorinator from Fritz Aquatics. Cheers to those guys for sponsoring the channel. And my favourite Fritz product of all time, the glass cleaner. Talked about this in a few videos, but just a quick rundown. It polishes the glass. It doesn't just clean the glass, it leaves a microfilm which prevents water staining, etc. And it's non-toxic as well, so I really enjoy it. CO2 we've talked about, inline diffuser with a pressurised cylinder here, refillable from my local aquarium gardens, and then high-end, high-spec, beautiful CO2 regulator here from Greenleaf Aquariums. It's going to last me a lifetime. Absolute brute of engineering. Great. And then my big bucket of all my maintenance kit in here, more fish food. And that's it. Loads of extension leads in the back. I don't have any power bars or smart plugs or anything at the moment. I actually like to keep it old school, like mechanical timers, etc. I know it's a bit old-fashioned, but here we go. Here's Tommy. Hello, mate. You're a good boy. What have you got? Hey? Come on then. You want to play?